Hi everybody, Natasha Koch here with the Vancity Home Team and this week's Vancity Scoop. Today we are going to talk about how to sell your house yourself without one of us, the real estate agent. So you're probably wondering why I even want to talk about this subject, because obviously real estate agents don't necessarily I have a little story to share. Hi, Mia. Thanks for joining. I have a little story to share about when I first got into real estate, which was about 19 years ago now, long time. And I joined Royal LePage, and I was on Vancouver Island. And when I joined Royal LePage, they had a for sale by owner contest. And so the contest was for whoever was able to list as many for sale by homes as possible and convert them to list with an agent won the contest. So I actually won that contest within the first few months that I sold real estate. So anyway, for sale by owners are kind of a soft spot for me, but I want to tell all of you people out there that are thinking about selling your home yourself, all of the steps that you need in order to do that effectively. So obviously, let's get right out of the way why for sale by owners actually want to sell by themselves in the first place. Hi, Randy. And so obviously, commission is substantial. So the number one reason really that people want to sell their house themselves is because of the commission. They want to save the commission. So on average, and commissions are different in all areas of Canada and in the US, but on average, I would say that, a $400,000 house, you'd be paying about $24,000 in commission. So $24,000, when you're negotiating, comes out of your equity. So the equity is the amount after you've paid the bank, if you have a mortgage on your house. That's the money that's left over. So if your house is worth $400,000 and you have a $250,000 mortgage, that means your net equity is $150,000. And then of course your $24,000 commission will have to come off of that. So then you're netting $126,000. Might even be more if you have other expenses such as mortgage penalties or closing costs, or if you have to do any repairs that are found by a building inspection by the buyer. So it does eat at your net profit, so I completely can relate to why people would want to try to sell it themselves. So let's talk about the steps of how you would go about selling your home yourself. Hello, Diane. Thanks for joining. So step one, this is actually probably the most important step, and that is to determine the market value. So you have to be right at this, because if you price it too low, you're going to cut into your profit. Hey, Ens. And if you price it too high, your property is going to sit on the market. So it's super important for you to make sure that you get it assessed properly or do your homework. So there's a few ways that you can utilize resources out there to get an idea of your value. Number one is online sites. So I actually have two sites that provide clients with free online market evaluations. One is for New Westminster, and the other one is for Vancouver and all of the rest of the Tri-Cities. So I'll post those sites later if you do want a free online market evaluation. Okay, perfect. I'm glad. So I'm glad that this information is going to be valuable. So if you go onto one of those sites, if you're in the US, there's sites like Trulia.com and Zillow. You can actually go on there and punch in some numbers about your house, and it'll give you a general idea of its value. In Canada, we actually have Zolo.com, and evalue.com is another one. So evalue.ca or .com, I'll have to check, but try both of those anyway. One of those will give you a Canadian market evaluation. So online websites are great. They're kind of general, but yes, there is something for Alberta for sure. I can send you a link actually to a couple for Alberta. Okay, so second, you can actually get a realtor in. If you're totally forthright and you let the realtor know that you want to sell it yourself, Okay, great. If you want to sell it yourself, you know, likely will find, I mean, most realtors obviously would like to sell it for you, but if you let them know that you plan to try it yourself first, they will more than likely come and help you out so that you can get an idea of value. Just make sure that you tell them in advance that you're planning on selling it and that they're not actually trying to get the listing, because some realtors will come out and overvalue a property just in order to get your business, and you really want an accurate number. So hi Gord, thanks for joining, and Terry. So the third option, which does cost money, is to actually hire an appraisal company. So there's a lot of appraisal companies. Generally, the banks use some of the top companies in your area. I'm sure that you can even ask anyone that you know that is a mortgage broker that works at the bank which companies they would recommend. They tend to be a little bit more conservative, and they cost between about $300 and $500. But you can definitely get an accurate appraisal done so that you know what your market value is before you decide to put it on the market yourself. Hi Gord, thanks for joining. So step two is preparing your house for sale. So this is the next important step. And so this starts basically by walking through your home slowly and looking at it from a different perspective and looking at it from the eyes of, okay, good, great. Diane, you're on the ball. You got the appraisal done, so you know already. So getting your house ready for sale, you're going to walk through it and be as critical as possible. This is actually a difficult task for most sellers because people don't want to admit that there's some faults with their home, but the chances are that a buyer is going to point those out probably in excess of what it would be to repair them or to take care of them. And you know, the truth is that when we buy a house, within the first 6 months to a year is when we do most of the renovations to it. And after a year, we start to just kind of overlook things or live with them or step over them, and things don't end up getting done until we go to sell the house. And then of course, everything has to be perfect. So you want to get rid of things that are negative to a buyer, such as clutter and cleanliness and bad smells. And as you can hear the dog barking in the background, you want to make sure that their smells are gone too. Little repairs like light switches that don't work, or door handles that are loose, or windows, or patio sliders that are sticking. Just the things that sort of are on the back burner that you haven't had time to do are super important to do, especially because the buyer will think it costs a lot more to do those things. Okay, so if you can't do those things, or you just don't have time, because probably there's a reason they weren't done in the first place, you probably ran out of time, you can hire a staging company or a handyman to come in and just make a list of things. And staging companies will often actually have somebody that can also come in and do some mild repairs or cleaning or things that you can't get to because you're busy. Life is busy nowadays, as we know. So step 3, marketing. So I'm just going to give you some super basics for marketing. There's a lot of different strategies, and obviously the internet is a big one. But first, you want to start out with a good sign on your lawn. So you don't want just some flimsy sign. You want to put something substantial, maybe 2 or 3 even. I've seen people put 2 and 3 signs, which is it captures people's attention, especially when there's a lot of other for sale signs out there. You want to make sure that yours stands out. Flyers and brochures. So you've probably gone to open houses and you've seen the flyers that realtors put out. So you want to make sure that your address is on there and all of the information that is crucial, that is pointing out all of the benefits to your house. So the area, the schools, all the reasons actually that you bought the house should be on that list. As well as 1 million pictures. Well, maybe not 1 million, but as many as possible, because so we want to envision what it would be like for us to live there. So lots and lots and lots of photos. Did I say pictures? That kind of dated me, didn't it? Photos. Okay, so online, because you're selling yourself, you won't be getting the MLS presence. So you want to still get online. So there's avenues to do that. Facebook Marketplace is the newest. So a lot of for sale by owners are posting their houses for sale on Facebook Marketplace. Craigslist, of course, is a good one. And sometimes you can actually work with agents, even if they don't list their property, by having them do, exclusive marketing for you. And if they find a buyer, you can negotiate, a lesser commission with them. So that's an option as well. Okay, so and then last for marketing would be open house. So a lot of people host open houses. Great way to get some excitement is to, offer some refreshments at your open house, maybe invite some of the neighbors. I know a lot of people don't like to invite neighbors because they don't want them snooping around their house. But to be honest with you, neighbors know other people that they may want to be their new neighbor. So chances are pretty good that they might actually know someone interested in buying your house. Or maybe they might just snoop. But nonetheless, you don't want to, stop a potential interested buyer, just because you're worried about, what their intentions are. So, and then step 4, we're going to go into negotiation. So, hi, Bryn, thanks for joining. Negotiating. So you're not using a real estate agent. This is probably the toughest part when you're selling yourself, is negotiating, because obviously it's very sensitive topic when someone is not going to offer you exactly what you would like for your home. And the reasons why may not be to your liking either. And this is why, and probably one of the biggest reasons people use realtors, is because we are sort of the go-between that is neutral, and we don't take it personally if somebody doesn't like certain aspects of your house. Not so easy when you're doing it yourself. You also want to be quite careful, because for sale by owners tend to negotiate verbally initially, and verbal communication, although it is considered a legal and binding contract, can sometimes change. And you want to make sure that whatever negotiations you do verbally, make sure that they, hey Brenda, thanks for joining. Make sure that I totally lost my train of thought, sorry. Oh, I just got nervous. Sometimes these lives, I look and I see, who's on there, and people that I know personally and people that I know from business. And so anyway, hi Yvonne, hi Farhana, and hi Heather. Nice of you to join. Thank you. Okay, so get it in writing, whatever you decide on, and negotiate verbally with the potential buyer. Make sure that you do finalize it with a contract. If you don't know how to write a real estate contract, get your lawyer to help you. Or again, you might be able to enlist a realtor that will offer to help you just write a contract should you have a buyer already, and they could potentially just charge you a fee only to do that. And it may take some of the pressure off and perhaps even help you with the negotiating part of it. So one of the biggest obstacles actually when a buyer buys your house is they may think that they're pre-approved, and they may have proof that they're pre-approved, but they may not in fact get their mortgage approved at the end of the day. So that's the biggest obstacle, that you want to make sure that they're approved and they can actually go forward and buy your house. So anyway, in summary, when you're selling yourself, sometimes it's the only option. I mean, I know that people have bought in a very high time, and commission is a lot of money. I completely respect that there may not be room in the equity to pay a commission. And so I wanted to offer this talk to those of you, even though I'm a realtor, that those of you that want to sell your house yourself, I just want to give you some of the tools and some of the things that we do as realtors also to help you do that on your own, so that you can save a little bit of money. So hopefully this was helpful for you, and I look forward to talking to you all on our next Vancity Scoop, live on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. Thanks for joining, Brandy and Yvonne. Talk to you soon. Bye, everybody. Thanks.